All right, let's move on. I want to talk about Seth Rogen just a little bit here because he's whining. He's whining about what's going on with the writer's strike and the fact that CEOs make a ton of money, which is the typical...
I hate when CEOs make money. First of all, look, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that people in creative... We're working on it right now. I am not saying or trying to make the argument that people in creative fields never get taken advantage of, because it certainly happens. And some
Seamus exploits his own employees.
And I'm exploited by them, and I'm exploited by the people I work for. This is just how the world works. Get used to it. But when somebody, especially someone in an artistic field, starts going on about how like they're the oppressed proletariat and the bourgeois CEOs are stealing everything from them, dude, come on. You're on screen for a living. You know, you're an actor.
Yeah.
Also, they've noticed now, if you notice now, with less and less content being put out at the box office, there's no real incentive for them to make anything that actually sells well, because the streamers don't have to put out numbers as to what actually does well.
What was his last one? Matter. You People?
Yeah, on Netflix, which is not going to matter.
Sounded like it was a race baiting.
He's also the one who did the really bad version of the Santa Claus. He did Santa Inc. in 2021. It's just one of the worst shows ever.
It's just L after L for Rogen.
So this is his quote. He says, "I'm personally distressed by not having any sense of how successful these shows and movies we are making for streaming services are." Well, they're all laying off employees constantly, so I don't think they're all that successful.
The secretiveness only makes me think that they're making way more money off of all of us than they want to share with anybody. These executives are making insane salaries that you would only make if you're running an incredibly profitable business.
Again.
Okay, I love.
He also said, thank God for labor unions.
I love that the secretiveness in Hollywood that he's concerned with is how much money executives are making.
Yep. Not the creepy stuff going on.
Not the constant allegations of sex trafficking, child sex trafficking.
Is he on the flight logs? I need to know.
Brian Peck was hired back by the Disney Channel after being charged and convicted with sodomizing a minor under the age of 16, and then was brought back to work at the Disney Channel to consult with them over the phone. And Seth Rogen's like, you know what we need to get to the bottom of in Hollywood? Whether or not I'm making enough money.
Yep, that's all the writers at the writer's strike too. That's what they think is the biggest problem in the entertainment industry right now.
And if anything, I think that not revealing the numbers is done to prevent the image of the company from going bad because the numbers are so bad, not because profits are so high.
It's about lying to investors.
Exactly. And this is it's even more insidious than that, in my humble opinion. I cannot imagine a better industry to act as a front for sex trafficking than Hollywood, because you have attractive people from all over the world who are loosely connected to their families or don't have close familial connections coming to that particular part of the world so they can be famous and be in films, and they're desperate for the approval of other people. And on top of that, in Hollywood, people overdose all the time. They disappear. I'll mention this as well. Films routinely lose money. Most films
of them do.
lose money. Kind of easy to make money disappear in Hollywood, isn't it?
I mean, we talk all the time about...
There are constant drug overdoses. These people get hooked onto various substances that often end in or can often end in the ending of that person's own life. If you were trying to cover up some deeply nefarious, disgusting stuff, there's not a more perfect scenario you can imagine than being a Hollywood director or executive.
If anything, they've romanticized the idea of the person coming from the small town to the big city in hopes of fulfilling their star, their dreams
finding
of becoming
their chosen
a star.
family.
Yeah.
I think Hollywood has been the breeding ground for degeneracy like that ever since the very beginning.
$20 one right there.
Well, and this is you hit the point on the head, though, right?
We got one from Disco Jensen. Sorry for interrupting the show again. I just want more crisis parties.
Well, we're getting there,
That's totally fine by us.
But you're absolutely right. And like I said, one thing that I point out a lot is like it's the only industry in the world really, like when we talk about how like kid stars get into all this stuff that happens with child stars, it's the only real industry where people that are very, very young are expected to just have jobs like an adult.
And interface with adults on a constant basis.
Yeah.
Most of whom are sex perverts.
And it's not like and it's not like the parents in
most
a lot of
is
these,
generous.
Yeah. And it's not like the parents in most of these situations are any better because a lot of them push the kids into it.
From Philip Reed, traded a 15-foot Mustang GT for 72.
I think you meant 2015 Mustang.
Oh, sorry. You put the apostrophe in the wrong place, buddy. 2015 Mustang GT for a 72 Volkswagen Beetle. Much like the movies, newer ones aren't as fun as the old ones.
I actually watched a whole documentary once about like the headache of having to have characters that drive classic cars on movie sets because they're so hard because the upkeep on them is so hard a lot of the time. They're
going to find a way to AI generate that too.
Yeah. Eventually, we're gonna get there.
I think that Hollywood is just getting worse at hiding the degeneracy and all the secrets because we're able to record anything.
If he wants to make movies with transparency, he should make movies for the government. They're always transparent.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Also, the other
Wait,
thing
do you
about
say
this
they're
is,
always transparent?
yes, that's exactly
like
what
the
I'm
parents
saying.
are trans,
Yeah.
or they're trying to.
They're both. They're both. Look, the thing is like, look, these CEOs are actually paid, like a lot of their wealth is based in stock anyways. Like they're not getting the huge bonuses necessarily as cash bonuses. They get in stock based on how the company's doing on paper. And they've gotten very good at moving money around at various times so that everything on the books looks clean even when it's not. But the sad fact of the matter is your writing, if you want your writing to be indispensable and you want to make as much money as these CEOs, you need to have scripts that are every bit as hard to live without as these streaming services seem to be for a lot of people. We've had this discussion here many times where people talk about, look, I have too many streaming services. I subscribe to way too many. I don't need all of them, but I keep them just in case. Look, if you want your art to sell well, then you need to make something that's as indispensable as the products that these companies are selling. And right now, that's the ability to watch all those movies and television without having to go out and buy physical media or change discs. It's just simply a service like the one you're offering. It's just harder to quantify what your service is worth because it's artistic and not inherent. Mm-hmm. It's just a weird. And to hear them talk about it all the time. What was the other thing I had here? I said we had the former TV what's his name, Paul Chato, who's basically saying that because they're on strike right now, that they're going to lose when it comes to scripts in AI because they're going to there's no way these studios are going to get rid of the ability to use ChatGPT.
He said it would be business insanity to negotiate away the option of scripts generated by AI, which the Writers Guild sanctioned, by the way.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they didn't go back on it totally.
Well, no, but yeah, and they're on strike right now. But there's no way they're getting rid of that. Not like
you just
ChatGPT isn't going to strike.
Your own labor replacement. And now you're complaining that you're not getting paid enough?
Yeah. And ChatGPT is not going to strike with really, really annoying signs out front of your building, unfortunately. I'm sorry. No. Like and he talks about it here. He goes, look, Citadel is awful. Like he goes, ChatGPT could have wrote Citadel. And like, this is coming from me, who is the one known on this show as the one who likes everything. Citadel is awful, and it could have been written by some type of AI program.
You didn't need to watch it to know. I honestly think you could have safely guessed. Amazon's multilingual, like 3 versions of it exist now. Amazon's like what $120 million generic spy series was going to be a dumpster fire. You didn't need to watch it to know that.
Well, I was willing to give it the shot, right? I gave it a shot.
I'm increasingly being like, no, like why do they deserve that? Yeah. Why do they deserve a shot though? That's where I'm at.
Well, it's not about them deserving a shot. It's just I limit myself with the ability to be pleasantly surprised if I don't take the risk to at least find out.
I mean, it's sort of like them claiming that they are deserving of certain wages when increasingly the output of all these writers is garbage.
Again, but that's me making the value judgment. Like, look, maybe they don't deserve it, but I'm putting my own ability to find something I like at risk if I don't take the chance. And like I said, I don't give them. I will just stop watching halfway through. I don't have to finish an episode. I don't even have to finish a season, even if I like a show. If I make it through 8 episodes of a 10-episode series and by episode 8 it stops entertaining me, I will just stop watching. Like, I don't have that completionist need to finish something every time.
So I definitely struggled with that for a long time. Some call it loyalty, some call it the sunken cost fallacy. I remember when The Walking Dead was on air, it probably took me until season 9 when I was finally like, I can't keep watching it, which is crazy. Which is crazy because that show stopped being good at like season 2 or 3. Yeah, maybe 5. 5 is generous though. 5 is generous though. Yeah. It was just consistently downhill. And then finally Negan, beats the audience to death with the camera in the season finale. Well, you don't find out who it is. He beats. That's what people were joking about. They're like, oh, the Walking Dead killed their audience because Negan beats the audience to death, or it's a POV shot. And then I really think that's when they jumped the shark. They wouldn't just tell you who he killed. They had to make you wait until the next season. It was
Glenn. Yeah.
You spoiled it.
Yeah.
It's
been a while, so I think they should know by now.
If it was different in the age of buying DVDs, because I used to buy season DVDs, right? It's like I would watch a show all the way through season to season, but maybe it's like I look back now now, and there's seasons of those that I will definitely skip if it's on streaming. But when I had the DVDs, I felt like I needed to watch them.
We've got one from Jeremy Neese. Petition for Seamus to change the name of his company to Potato Vision.
Oh, I'll think about it.
It's a good one.
I'll really have to strongly consider that.
You could be one of those like one of those tech companies and change the spelling of potato somehow. Make it somehow really hip.
I feel like that would make it harder to brand, though, right?
It's like Tay, and then like T-O-E.
The number 8.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we got one more there from Big Derp Energy.
He said, at work, late to chime in with patron saint. Saint, I don't know how to pronounce that one. Is it Roche? Or Rocco? Rocco, I've heard. Patron saint of dogs and bachelors, 2 things which go together. Dogs are the only creatures on this earth who will truly love without pretext or expectation.
Ooh, well, dogs can't really will the good of another.
This is what I'm saying,
it's not actually love. Dogs can have affection. Here's the thing. By the way, the video's finally up before I upset all the dog parents. We finally got the new Freedom Tunes video up.
Go.
Please go check it out. After I upset you with what I'm about to say about dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are wonderful creatures. Dogs are an incredible gift from God. However, to truly appreciate something, you have to understand it for what it is. And while dogs are wonderful, a dog is not at the same level intellectually as a human. And I know that's a shocker because maybe you interact with some people on a daily basis who seem they're beneath the intellectual level of a dog. But trust me, humans do have some rational faculties built atop their passions. And for as wonderful and lovely as dogs are, they can't make the conscious decision to will the good of another because they operate based on instinct, right? They operate based on, I guess, what we might call their passions. And they can't go through the long-term reasoned arguments or grapple with the I guess development of virtue that would be necessary in order to show sufficient love.
Okay.
Because a dog is reacting to its emotion. Like when a dog runs up to you and licks your face, it's like your dog only does that when your dog feels like doing that, right? Yeah. Your dog never goes, okay, I don't feel like greeting my owner today, but I know he's had a bad day, so I'm going to do that for him, right? So in that sense...
We've got one from Joshua 029. Seamus, 1, do I harvest when the leaves start wilting or wait until they're brown and dead? Potatoes, I mean. You continuously prove to be one of the most knowledgeable and impressive people online. An actual hero. God bless. All right, tone down the praise.
You are very kind. No.
There's
Don't
one more
keep
there's
coming.
one more
That's
above
very
that.
extremely kind.
Above that? Sorry.
kind.
Timothy Duvet said, Mary and Seamus, what percentage of your Catholicism is unwavering belief and what percentage is Pascal's wager? Hope that makes sense. You can't divide it into percentages.
Alec Baldwin can.
Hold on.
Thank you.
I would like, that's a really good question.
Go ahead.
So now that
I probably could have cut it at the first straighten your ass out.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's almost done with the week.
So, all right. Now that my video is up and I don't have to focus quite so much on what's on my computer screen, I think I can answer a question like this. Maybe I'll let you answer first, Mary, because you were saying something about how it can't be broken up into percentages.
Yeah, I don't think it can be. But if I had to, I would just say it's 100%. Honestly, this is a stupid answer, but it's my intuition.
No, for me, and look, when I answer this question, I'm genuinely being honest. I'm not trying to be braggadocious by any means. I really do believe all of it, every bit of it. There's nothing that I doubt. That's not to say I have perfect faith, because where I think my biggest weakness is doubting God in my own life. So I know it's true. Like I know that Christ rose from the dead. I know that the Eucharist is his body, blood, soul, and divinity. I know that God created the universe. But for whatever reason, like I can't get it through my head that I don't need to worry and that he's gonna take care of me and that he has a plan.
But that's human,
what
right?
I struggle with. That's for sure. But I know that for me, my biggest struggle in terms of faith is not, is God real? It's really internalizing the fact that he's got me.
Okay.
That's what's a struggle for me, I think.
Okay.
That's everybody, I think.
It's interesting though, because I think there are some people who struggle intellectually with giving assent to church teaching, but they feel like everything's going to be fine. I've met people like that. People like that who are just not as worried in their day-to-day life about things as I am.
There's personality differences.
Yeah.
Take into
I
account.
would love
there.
to figure out how to do that. to be less worried all the time.
Yeah,
All right,
it's tough.
I
And
do
it's such a
wanna-
waste of time. It's such a waste of time. Who can add a moment to his life by worrying, right?
It doesn't really end up changing much of anything other than your quality of life in that moment. I do want to ask you your thoughts on AI as it relates to art. Is that becoming part of your life more frequently? That discussion.
So AI is a complicated one because on the one hand, I certainly think that the development of any new technology can present abundant opportunities for people within that field to work more efficiently. But of course, it can also drive people out of that field, and that tends to be what happens. With AI, it's going to be very difficult to predict exactly how this is going to affect the marketplace because the last thing we thought artificial intelligence and automation was going to be able to push out of the market were the artistic fields. I remember thinking this a few years ago. Well, AI is developing. There's a lot that these machines seem to be able to do, but they're not going to be able to do art. Well, very quickly, they began to be able to do art. So I'm trying to take a page out of what I was saying a moment ago and not worry about it because ultimately God has a plan for me. Maybe that plan is for AI to assist me with my work. Maybe that plan is something entirely different. Maybe he just doesn't want me to be in this field in the long run. I don't know. I don't believe that's the case. I'm going to keep operating as if this is what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life, but I got to be willing to have that curveball thrown my way. The thing that really disturbs me about AI and the thing that really concerns me is the fact that for many people, it's going to give them this unearned sense of gratification that they've created something when all they've done is ask the computer to do it for them. And it gets into all these different questions of what is work? Does work just exist? Does work just exist so that we can make things? Or is there something that work does to us, which is good and necessary? In other words, am I merely working on the creation of a product when I make a video, or am I working on myself in some way? Am I forcing myself to do things that I don't want to do? Am I forcing myself to grow in my craft? And that entire subsection of what work is, if we consider that to be something important, is going to be completely diminished by AI in a worst case scenario.
What somebody pointed out to me, they said it's not going to kill art, it's going to kill art as commerce in a lot of ways. That it's never going to stop somebody from being able to make art for themselves. If you want to make art, you can. And in a lot of ways, what we're seeing now is that so much with the internet and social media and all of these platforms, there's never been a greater need for
We've
art.
got one from Brewmaster Monk. By the way, check your messages. As Catholics, what do you guys think about Jordan Peterson's ARC project? And do you think the Bible could have done a better job banning sex with children?
What?
I don't think that the Bible could have done a better job at anything.
Yeah, I think the Bible's...
I don't know what the ARC project is. Have you heard of the ARC project? I don't know what that is.
I'm not familiar with the ARC project.
Please explain what you are talking about.
I don't think that the ability to do art is going away. I think that what a lot of it is that we're in an age now where there's more need for commercial art than there's ever been.
So, yeah, well, and this is... Okay. I've mentioned... Sorry, did I cut you off? You were totally in the middle of talking. Okay.
No, we got a super chat. You're good.
So... When it comes to the artistic fields, there was a time, and this was just the case for the vast majority of human history, that it was unbelievably rare for a person to do anything artistic for a living. Somebody might create art in their spare time, and they would create art not because they were seeking to profit off of it in any financial sense, but because they wanted to better themselves and they wanted to give something beautiful to the world. That is never going to change. That is never going to change. Whether you're going to have a large class of people making money selling art, yeah, that probably could change. But that's also a very recent modern phenomenon, right? That not happening would not kill art. That would not kill art. I have a friend, a very good friend, who lives in Georgia, and he's a painter, and an unbelievably talented painter, probably one of the best I've ever met in my entire life. And he lives in a little house with his roommates, who I'm also very good friends with. And oftentimes he sleeps outside. He sleeps on the floor every night. He doesn't have a bed. All he does is he paints. And I remember him saying something to me a few years ago about the fact that he knew he was going to be poor. That's why he became an artist, or he didn't become an artist to make money, I should say. He did it because he legitimately loves his craft.
He became tortured to be an artist, not an artist.
That's not exactly how he said it. I think I butchered his original quote,
Sorry.
but someone mentioned something to him about the fact that, of course, he doesn't have much money, and he said, well, yeah, I'm an artist, and I became an artist because I wanted to make art, not because I wanted to make money. And I think there's something so pure and wholesome about that, because most people who are in artistic careers, as we see with everybody in Hollywood who's striking right now, they got involved with this so they could make money off of it. They didn't start doing this out of a love of the craft. And that's not me saying that people who are generating obscene amounts of money for their employers doing artistic things should not be better compensated for that work. I absolutely believe workers can be exploited by their employers, including workers in artistic fields. However, the attitude of an artist genuinely should be, am I making the best product, not am I making the most money?
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.